A man, a woman, 3 cats, a bulldog, and a 65-inch television in a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles. One of these things has got to go. Which will I kick to the curb? You're about to find out. But first, press like, share, subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment, won't you? It's Judge John Hodgman. Let's go.
Welcome to the Judge John Hodgman podcast. I'm bailiff Jesse Thorne. This week, 4K no los dos. Andrew brings the case against his girlfriend, Rachel. Andrew loves his large television. Rachel hates it. She begged him to leave the behemoth behind before they moved in together. However, it's now the main TV in their home. Rachel loves living with Andrew, but she wants to evict his huge eyesore of a television. Who's right, who's wrong? Only one can decide. Please rise as Judge John Hodgman enters the courtroom and presents an obscure cultural reference.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say she's pulling her punches there, buddy. This is beyond tacky. This is atrocious. There are 2 safes in the room, and one of them has a floor lamp on it. Diabolical. Reading your comments in here, I no longer believe you have a wife. There is simply no way. Bailiff Jesse Thorne, please swear the litigants in.
Andrew and Rachel, please rise and raise your right hands. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you, God or whatever.
I do.
Do you swear to abide by Judge John Hodgman's ruling, despite the fact that he doesn't even have a television? He just reads 19th century novels in a bad Maine accent.
I do.
Yes.
Judge Hodgman, you may proceed.
Andrew and Rachel, you may be seated.
Oh, no.
That were them sitting down.
Oh, no.
Unless you're watching on the YouTube, in which case, you know, it's all stagecraft. They are already seated down. They got there from here. And here we are. You asked for it, Jesse. All Maine accent today. It's the day after my birthday, after all, that this episode's being released. And all I want as a present is that I stop doing that accent. Hey, I gave myself a present.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much, Andrew. Rachel,
we're
happy
waiting.
birthday, John.
thank you very much. What a surprise. Those of you who are watching the YouTube know that they are seated, and that it's all just been stagecraft from the very beginning. We don't actually ask people to stand up. But it is true that for an immediate summary judgment in one of yours favors, one of you can steal the whole case by guessing the obscure cultural reference that I quoted from as I entered this courtroom. You both have to guess which one of you would like to go first.
I can go. I don't know, but I do have a preloaded guess.
All right. Andrew, what's your preloaded guess?
The episode of Home Improvement where Tim the Toolman Taylor puts a TV in the bathroom.
Oh, the episode of Home Improvement where Tim the Toolman Taylor puts a TV in the bathroom. Interesting guess. I'm writing it down.
I'm guessing that episode of Detroiters where Richard Karn hosts the Detroit Advertising Awards. Remember that one, John? That was a really good one.
I still haven't watched Detroiters, Jesse. I'm embarrassed to say I'm working my way through season 2 of Twin Peaks, and it's taking a lot out of me.
Okay, well, Detroiters will put it all back into you.
I appreciate that. Rachel,
Oh, God.
it's time for you to guess.
No idea.
We bought you. You want to hear it again?
I do.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say she's pulling her punches there, buddy. This is beyond tacky. This is atrocious. There are 2 safes in the room, and one of them has a floor lamp on it. Diabolical. Reading your comments in here, I no longer believe you have a wife. There is simply no way.
I think this is from an episode of TLC's Trading Spaces.
All right, another great. You know what? I'm going to write that one down too. I just erased the last one and I wrote that down too. Everyone on the YouTube can see I wrote it down for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Trading Spaces. All guesses are wrong, I'm sorry to tell you. The context clue that I was so desperate to give you was with regard to comments. This is a Reddit comment submitted by a Redditor whom I do not know, whose handle is Thick Jedi, THICC _Jedi, spelled in the traditional manner.
Their handle should just be Reddit handle.
Exactly. It was posted on a subreddit of some note called Male Living Space. Underneath a post titled 39 Male, Wife Says This Is Tacky. I Think It's Minimalist, But Fine, posted by Reddit user StrikeCat18. So if you don't know, Rachel and Andrew, Male Living Spaces is a subreddit where dudes who are living on their own post pictures of rooms in their houses and ask what people think about them. And as you can imagine, The rooms that they post are usually extremely Spartan, almost exclusively lit by one single ceiling lamp. There are usually no floor lamps.
John, that's disingenuous. That's not the case.
No?
They're often also lit by LED strips behind stuff.
That's true. That's right. Behind a mounted samurai sword, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. Color-changing LED strips are one of the top features of these homes.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's usually a mattress on a bare floor with maybe a Family Guy flag tacked above it and a couple of lawn chairs for entertaining. In this case, Strike Cat 18 posted this with the caption, or the title, I should say, 39 male. That's Strike Cat 18. Wife says this is tacky. I think it's minimalist, but fine. And, in this case, he's got an entirely predictable gray sectional sofa on a gray carpet and a gray tile floor. And on that gray sofa is a massive gray dog. But what drew particular attention to this post was his decorative use of gun safes in the living room. Yeah. There's one in each corner of the room. To be fair, only the tall one is used for his rifles. The other, of course, is used for his collection of expensive watches. And what he only reveals in the comments as he defends his choices is that there is a third safe behind him in the photos. So it's not just 2 gun safes, it's 3. And indeed, on one of the safes, he has put a floor lamp on top of one of the safes. And what they flank, and what is common to all of the rooms posted in male living spaces, is that for all of the lack of decorative intentionality and the incredible frugality, there is always a ginormous flat screen television that the man in this case is invested in, including Strike Cat 18. In fact, he went on to post other photos of his bedroom and later his den and later his man cave that are all equally disturbing. And truly, I could not tell if this was a performance art project or not. He was so genial in how much people hated his spaces. He's like, I guess I bring everyone together in hating what my taste. But people could not believe it. Most recently, he posted this picture of a man cave, which is a bed without sheets on it and not 1 but 2 flat screen TVs on top of safes. It's wild. Check it out if you want. But I was quoting from one of the many, many comments wondering if this guy could be for real. As far as I can tell, he is for real. And as I pointed out, the common denominator of every male living space on subreddit Male Living Spaces is a large flat screen TV, which is what we're here to discuss. Is it not, Andrew?
That's correct.
And you seek justice in this court. Is that correct, Andrew?
I suppose so, yes.
And you and Rachel, you are romantically partnered but not married. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you, at least as of recently, the 2 of you are cohabitating. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I see. So how long have you been together, Andrew, you and Rachel? How long have you been together?
Well, our story is that we met online dating about 8 years ago, and we dated for 7 months.
Rachel, is that your story? Did you get your story straight before you came on the podcast?
Yes, that is the story.
And so far, so good.
The story.
And then I kind of blew it. I was a young little baby, very young baby, 29 years old, very young and baby, and made some mistakes. And let quite a bit of time pass. And then last June of 2024, she drove by me on the street while I was walking my dog and sent me a text. And I was excited to hear from her, and we met up again, and we've been dating quite steadily since then. And
now, before the drive-by texting, you had met in person before. You had done some dating.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
In-person dating for about 7 months. Yes.
Rachel, when you saw Andrew with his dog on the streets of Los Angeles, I would presume, as the case may be, because the 2 of you are right there in the Maximum Fun studios.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What did you text him? What did you say? You remember?
I'm sure I said something like, "Hey, I hope this is Andrew, and if it's not, I'm very sorry. But I just saw you walking down the street, and I wanted to reach out and say,
do you want to move in with me?
I want to move in with me. Bring the TV."
I wish.
How long ago was it that you reconnected over text and stalking?
Oh, that was almost a year ago. So last June.
And then you did invite him to move into your home eventually.
Sure did.
And he brought this TV, which we'll get to. But the two of you live in a neighborhood of Los Angeles, correct?
That's right.
And aside from the TV, how has your apartment changed since Andrew joined the household, Rachel?
Well, it's changed a lot, mostly for the better, because when I had only been living there about a year when he moved in. And so it was quite sparse still. I had been taking my sweet time furnishing everything and hanging pictures up.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to be able to do that together. And so it really does feel more like an apartment and more like a home.
Hanging pictures up, you say?
Mm-hmm.
John,
just
so you know, I've looked at male living spaces a lot.
Yeah.
So sort of the process is you take down some of your Gundams and you add 7,000 houseplants and one picture that you bought at IKEA.
That's for male living spaces.
Yeah.
But
is that not universal? I've only looked at males.
no, I think Rachel is actually hanging up pictures, not just sticking up posters of Hanoi rocks with blue stack or whatever that stuff is.
Wait, now I'm worrying that maybe this new home decoration scheme has colors other than black, white, and gray.
Well, at least it did before Andrew moved in. How big of the apartment is it?
Maybe 1,200 square feet.
Okay. How many bedrooms?
It's one bedroom and then like a spare sunroom.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
And this was your place in the world that you had been slowly decorating and curating to your taste, slowly but surely, making it your personal and private space in the world. And then you invited Andrew in, and he brought along with him not just a big TV, but also, I presume, a dog, right? He was walking a dog, unless you're a dog walker by profession, Andrew.
He did. He brought a little bulldog named Esther
Oh.
and 2 cats.
I better be looking at some photos of these soon. I see we have some evidence here. Let's take a look at Exhibit A. Our black. Oh, look at the. Wait a minute. How many animals are we dealing with here?
We now have 4. The little black dog, that's Weetsy Bat. That's mine.
Oh,
Look at these two.
She's about the same size as Ronnie the cat.
The cat's a crazy vampire.
yeah. The caption that you say here is our black cat, Ronnie.
Ronnie, yep.
Ronnie being friends with our black dog Weetsy Bat,
I love them.
they're two little smudges. They're 2 little charcoal smudges, aren't they?
They're about the same size, just tiny little black things. Yeah, you can lose them pretty easy.
And they're getting along okay.
They have quite a bit of fun together. Yes.
Oh, it's nice. What's Weetsy Bat? Is that a reference to something? I've never. Weetzie?
It is. It's a YA novel from, I believe, like the late 80s, early 90s. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And here's Exhibit B, our bulldog Esther, whose tongue is always out. This is the dog that you were walking. There we go.
Look at this dog.
Yeah, that's the dog I had to meet.
That's the noise.
Esther is an incredible lump of folds, of fuzzy folds.
We have to push her tongue in because it'll dry out if she leaves it like that.
Oh, Esther, come on. Pull your tongue back into your mouth.
You should mist her like a tropical plant.
Should have a little mister.
I know. I've never seen a dog that didn't look more like a scoop of melted coffee ice cream. Delightful.
Yeah.
And you say our dog, Esther, in this photo. Was that you who wrote this caption, Rachel? Our dog, Esther?
It
or
wasn't.
is that...
It was Andrew.
Oh. Do you consider it to be a shared dog,
Very
Rachel?
much so, yes.
I know you do, Andrew. You wrote our dog.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Mhm. Oh, yes, I do. Very much.
That's nice. So things are good in this household. Everyone's getting along. There's a 4th animal, but I'm reserving the 4th animal to Tommy the cat until we talk about the TV, because the Tommy is placed in the photo for scale.
That's right.
So that we can get a sense of these 2 different TVs. I guess we should take a look at them, I suppose. What else is there to talk about aside from the cuteness? So we'll go to Exhibit C. And here's your apartment. Here's Tommy the cat in the foreground, of course, sitting very happily on the dining room table. And in the background, I see a TV that seems to be on a stand.
On a rolling stand, yep.
It's on a rolling stand, like an
I think
AV
the
cart.
AV Club just came from because there's a substitute today.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we're going to watch a movie in class. And then for contrast, we have essentially the same shot. This time, Tommy the cat's a little bit closer to the lens, but you can still get a sense of the comparative size. In the background, there is Rachel, your TV, which is a much smaller TV, in the same position on top of a smaller, it looks like a TV card. It's a little hard for me to see, actually.
It was on the rollers before the big TV invaded the space and took over the rollers. So whichever TV we end up using would theoretically be on wheels, but that's just a stand-in bench.
In contrast to the spaces I've seen on r/male living spaces, this is a warm-toned, comfortable, and tasteful scene with a lot of wood tones, including the cat, and some nice textural contrasts.
Yeah, you've got looks like you've got along the right-hand wall. Looks like you've got maybe some sort of like a Scandinavian style teak wall unit, which is very nice looking. You've got a nice little ottoman. I love this it's an architectural feature, not something that you added, I presume, but there's a little niche between the doors, a little lighted niche with a vase in it. I like the lighting. I like the sconces. I like your wall treatments. Your window treatments. I like the fact that you have window treatments as opposed to what I did when I was living alone with another guy, which was just nailing a sheet over the window. I'm talking about a bed sheet.
That was more or less the condition of my apartment before I moved in with Rachel. I must confess, everything there is entirely Rachel's doing. It's her taste. She made those curtains on the window.
Whoa.
I just did my best to disrupt as little as possible. I added some books.
He filled the Scandinavian teak cabinet with his Blu-ray collection.
Oh, what was in there? What was in there before?
But you know
Not
what?
much.
That's the right place to keep the Blu-rays, because this Scandinavian teak cabinet does have doors. No one wants to look at Blu-rays. They're too plastic and ugly.
Exactly.
Well, I strongly disagree. Why do you think they invented Blu-ray towers? So everyone could see.
Fair point, Jamel Bowie.
Everyone could see that you are a cineast.
Who appreciates physical media.
That's right.
So, Andrew, when you moved in, you left behind at your former apartment all the various furniture you had made out of stacks of breezeway boards.
That's exactly right. Yeah. My milk crate, couch, and everything. Yeah, it was curbed. Yeah.
Got it.
And in the distance, I see, there's a beautiful window with a tree behind it, which is great. And then, but on the right, there's another little room there. Is that your sunroom?
Yes.
Okay. This looks great. I would live here. Can I move in?
You may.
I only have 3 dogs. So the debate here is between these two TVs. Andrew's is larger. How many inches?
65.
And that's diagonally across the screen of the TV.
I believe that's correct.
Right,
yes.
65-inch TV. And Rachel, here's a TV that your TV is a little bit more petite. What
Yes.
do you know the size of that one?
No idea. I would guess 48.
And before Andrew moved in, is this where the TV would always be?
Yeah, I had it on that stand with the rollers, and whenever I didn't want to look at it, I would simply tuck it back into the sunroom and put it away.
Oh, you would just bring it out if you were going to watch something. What do you like to watch on
Yep.
TV when you're making curtains?
At the time I wasn't watching a lot of TV. Before
Mhm.
Andrew moved in, I hadn't turned on the TV probably in quite some time.
Just
Right.
documentaries. Once in a while, you'd watch documentaries.
Public television and occasionally an Oscar award-winning documentary. Yeah.
I perhaps would not have a TV at all if my mother hadn't brainwashed me into thinking that I need a TV in case I need to watch the news.
As I'm sure you do.
What if there's another moon landing?
Exactly.
Yeah, you might miss it. That's the greatest argument for throwing your TV into a lake, frankly. There's too much news.
Mhm.
So for you, TV was a sometime thing. But for you, Andrew, TV is a large part of your life, literally and figuratively, correct? Not TV, but beautiful cinema.
That's right. Yes. At home viewing is fun and dare I say, important to me.
You may dare.
I do enjoy it immensely. I also am regrettably a gamer. I do play video games, and I like when they look big and big in front of me, and I can climb into it.
Andrew, you don't bead, you don't make window treatments. You like to watch and you like to play. What kind of things do you like to watch, and what kind of things do you like to play? You may name now your favorite movie, television show, and video game.
Oh gosh, I am a PTA guy. I think I'll say Phantom Thread. We watched it recently, and I do love that.
Paul
movie.
Thomas Anderson.
That's right.
This isn't Blank Check, Andrew. This isn't
Sorry.
a movie podcast. Our listeners might not know who PTA is. It's Paul Thomas Anderson, The Phantom Thread.
That's exactly right.
With Daniel Day-Lewis. Double D. Lou, I like to call him. That was his last performance, right? Didn't he retire after that? This far, no further?
I believe he recently came out of retirement to star in his son's film, is last I heard.
Yeah, well, you got to do that.
You gotta.
You got to come out. You got to come out of retirement for D.D. Lou Jr. All right, TV show. Do you watch TV?
Sure. Not as much as I used to, but we've been rewatching Pen 15. I love Pen 15.
Yeah, it's a great show.
A wonderful show.
Terrific show. You ever watch Dicktown on Hulu?
I sorry. Let me take that again. TV would probably be Dicktown on Hulu.
No. I'm not asking you.
I have watched it. I do. I love it. I do.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great.
To be clear,
Rachel, have you ever experienced Dicktown on Hulu on the big screen? You got to see it on the big screen to really appreciate it.
It really brings out the detail.
Sure.
What video games do you like to play? You got any recommendations for me? I've got adult children who are out of the house now, so I've got time.
Oh, I am currently playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Okay. That's, by the way, that's just a made-up video game from a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Yeah, exactly. I was concerned I was having a stroke. Just random words. What is that? A platformer, a side scroller, a shoot 'em up, a grab and go?
It's a French-made JRPG homage, so it's just a very bonkers turn-based combat, big soap opera story, crazy world.
It's an FRPG?
It's an FRPG, yes.
Rachel, have you ever even heard of Claire Obscure Expedition 33? Did you even know he was playing these games while you're out taking care of business out there? He's home playing video games in your house?
Oh no, he waits till I'm home to play them in front of me so I can watch.
Parallel play while she beads.
Yeah, parallel play.
So let me ask you this.
I had not heard of it.
Is it The Phantom Thread or Dicktown on Hulu or Claire Obscure Expedition 33? Which of these things makes you hate Andrew's television the most?
It's none of them. It's when none of those things are on, which is
70%
of the time. It's just this big black mirror in our living room, and it's huge, and it's useless, and it's ugly. I don't mind it when he's playing.
When it's on and you're getting enjoyment out of it, or even just he is, you don't mind it so much.
Correct.
And you didn't want this TV in your apartment, right? I mean, you knew it was coming. He didn't show up with it?
No, we knew it was. I think we had kind of a months-long back and forth about whether or not it was coming, and neither of us were sure who was joking. And now it's here.
Well, your position was, I don't want your TV, and Andrew was like, ha, funny joke. Here it comes.
Yes, sometimes that, and then other times he's saying, I wonder where I'm going to put this giant TV, and I say, ha, funny joke.
So it wasn't until he moved in that you knew he was serious?
I think right before he moved in, we had a more serious conversation, and we decided that he would bring the TV and we would evaluate in a month or so.
We submitted this we went to see the live show actually end of February, live Judge John Hodgman.
Oh yeah.
At the Dynasty Typewriter. And so we actually submitted for that because I was moving in about a week later.
Oh,
and we thought maybe you could decide before it actually made its way over.
In this case, it is true. Justice delayed is justice denied. I had an opportunity to stop this from happening. And unfortunately, we had a wonderful show, and I hope you enjoyed it there at Dynasty Typewriter. But we can't hear them all on stage. We can't hear them all. And now here we are months later with this TV getting more and more eminent domain in your house, as it were. The possession is 9/10 of the law. That's what they said in The Exorcist. Did you know that, Jesse Thorne? That's the tagline of The Exorcist.
That's what they said in William Friedkin's The Exorcist.
That's right. This standoff is happening because you have both TVs in this small apartment now, right, Rachel?
Yes.
Where's your TV live most of the time?
The small TV is now living on top of the dresser in the bedroom, and I'm not even sure if it's plugged in. It's just kind of sitting there.
And how does that look? Really good?
Really great.
Do you love being in a bedroom with a TV in it, just like you're in a hotel room or something?
Yep. Love it.
Are you being sarcastic, or are we not sure who's joking here?
To be fair, I don't think either of us are TV in the bedroom people. It's just kind of the spot for it to live right now. We don't use it
Right.
in the bedroom.
Right.
I mean, John.
Yeah.
It has moderate at best dynamic range.
Thank you.
If you both agree that it doesn't belong in the bedroom, Rachel, why are you holding on to it? If you don't care about TV that much, are you hoping that Andrew will give in eventually and throw his in the garbage?
I am. Yeah.
Andrew, if you had a smaller TV that was peppy and high definition and had a high dynamic range, a higher quality, smaller TV, how would you feel?
I guess I feel like that is what I would insist on if the ruling went toward small TV. I would then want to buy a different small TV.
You don't want your blacks to look gray.
This is exactly what I'm saying, Jesse. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he doesn't want his blacks to look gray, John, for when he's gaming. Like when he's playing a game with a lot of shadowy, Skyrim.
Or Claire Obscure.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has a lot of deep shadows, I would imagine, for sure. They didn't put Obscure in there for nothing. So it's not just the responsiveness and the app switching, it's also the screen quality of your TV that you like.
Yes.
Rachel, you notice a difference between the screen quality of your TV and Andrew's TV?
Not much.
Because when he's watching something or playing a video game, you're looking away in disgust, so you don't notice?
Well, mostly, I think it's mostly because if we are watching something during the daytime, there is way too much light in the apartment anyway for you to see anything really clearly. It doesn't make much of a difference to have a clearer television.
It is a light-filled apartment. Did you experiment with any other places to put this TV? I mean, I'll be honest with you. People who are able to review the evidence, which is posted on our social media as well as on our show page at MaximumFun.org. You can be looking at it right now. If you're over at Judge John Hodgman Pod, our YouTube channel, please subscribe when you're over there. But the placement of the TVs, either one, they're in the same place in the A-B comparison photos that you sent with Tommy as the constant, Tommy the cat. They're positioned between the picture window and the door into the sunroom at an angle. Neither one of them, both of them, I would say, are wider than the wall that they're positioned in front of, that wall between the window and the door, right? Neither one of them really fits there.
Correct.
Have you experimented at all with a different place where it could go? Andrew, do you have an idea?
There has been some experimenting. I mean, I think the final word on it is that it's just not an ideal space for a television.
Even if you wanted to mount it on a wall, you don't have a big wall space that it could go on, it looks like from here.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Andrew, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm pretty impressed looking at the evidence right now at how carefully you've hidden your surround sound speakers.
I haven't gotten there yet. I wish. I do have a sound bar hiding somewhere.
I was just going to ask, how many sound bars do you have?
Andrew is a cineast. He would never have a sound bar, John.
Yeah, right.
You don't get the stereo separation you need.
No, when you're creating a soundscape, you have to have a lot of separation. You need at least, 5 speakers, Andrew?
I'm not quite there yet, but I do believe that's what my father installed in his basement, much to my mother's chagrin. So that sounds about right. Yeah.
She was upset that he didn't do 7.1.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Great. Well, I think I know everything I need to in order to make my verdict. Andrew, go live with your dad in his basement.
Yeah. Why do you have a non-Atmos girlfriend?
I do want to say my general argument here is the space is just not conducive to a television. And
Yeah.
I just bump against the notion that the bigger TV is that much more of an eyesore than the smaller TV. I think the TV just sort of is an eyesore. So, I mean, I guess I'm not arguing for no TV, but I would sort of rather no TV than small TV on some level. But the other point I do want to make is that in the picture, the evidence picture of the small TV, the large TV has been hidden in the sunroom. So, I mean, that is some proof that the big TV can be disappeared when needed. It is not visible in that photo and is just tucked around the corner. So, you know.
Well, essentially, you're storing the large TV where the small TV used to be stored in the sunroom and wheeling it out when you want to. And how often do you wheel it out?
Well, the reality is that the option to disappear it is more on the table than the option to wheel it out. It mostly just sits in position in the living room with the knowledge that we could sequester it if, say, we were having company and didn't.
I understand the hypothetical situation,
or if it had
but
COVID or something.
That's right.
I understand the hypothetical situation, but let's get practical. How often do you move it into the sunroom?
Approximately 0. I've maybe done it 3 times total.
And what were the situations in which you did move it in there? You wanted to hug and kiss your girlfriend, and that was a condition?
I guess so. I wanted to seem agreeable. I didn't want to seem like I was taking over the space.
Rachel, with the small television, was it being wheeled away or would it be wheeled away more frequently?
Yes. But not necessarily to be put away, but there was more flexibility with the smaller television because I could wheel it around the apartment. I could flip it around if I was doing something in the sunroom and watch it through the doorway. I could bring it into the sunroom.
And how often would you watch television back when it was just you and what's your bat Waxahachie? What is the name of it? Weetsy Bat? Weetsy Bat and which cats were yours? Any of them?
Neither of the cats were mine.
Well, you say this guy brought a dog and 2 cats and a 65-inch television into your life?
Exactly what I'm telling you.
He sounds great.
How often would you and Weetsy Bat watch TV before Andrew came into your life? I would
say a few times a week.
A couple times a week.
Yeah.
And otherwise it would just be stowed away in the sunroom. And you would only bring it out when you were going to watch news.
Pretty much.
How much room is in the sunroom? How big is it, would you say? I really want to go in it. I really want a 3D walkthrough of your house.
I was going to say 15 by 15 or so,
Sure.
Yeah.
And obviously you call it the sunroom because it's got big windows.
Windows all around, yeah.
So like if I were to, hypothetically, Rachel, turn your project room into Andrew's TV room, how would you feel about that?
Terribly. It would involve a lot of blocking out windows. That would make me very sad.
Oh yeah, no, they would be painted black.
Yeah.
so that he can enjoy his games better.
Yeah, I think I'd be quite upset.
I have a craft room and I want it painted black. If you're using the television after dark anyway because of all these bright windows, have you ever considered a projector?
Not
No wall.
meaningfully. Yeah, no real wall. Yeah.
You can get them so they come out of the sky.
True.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right?
What do you mean they come out of the sky, Jesse?
They come out of the sky. They're in the ceiling.
Oh,
the screen is in the ceiling. You don't need to project it onto a wall if the screen comes down in front of your wall unit.
Yeah, if you got like an old elementary school projection screen, you go vzzt. Wouldn't that be cool?
I have a friend with a projector set up, and he spends quite a bit of money keeping it. It seems like too much for me. I'm too lazy for that.
It's too much of a hassle. You'd rather slowly grind your relationship into the dust through the friction of this dispute over years and years.
But that's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, as a guy with a projector, I immediately started obsessing over like how to black out windows. So
you have a
may
projector,
not be
Jesse.
practical for their light-filled home. I do have a projector. In my backyard, I have a shed smaller than their sunroom, which is my office. And in that shed, there was not room on the wall to put a television. So instead, in front of one of the sets of windows, I put a projector screen that comes down out of the sky, as well as a laser projector, which rarely needs replacement bulbs. So those pretty expensive. And I put speakers into the walls and ceiling because I did want that Dolby Atmos.
Cool.
And I go in there to watch movies and baseball games by myself, since no one else will go in there with me.
Well, Andrew, you live in Los Angeles. Why don't you just go over to Jesse's house? You can watch your PTA in Jesse's shed.
I don't know. I kind of thought the Phantom Thread was boring.
I haven't seen that.
That's why not.
How often do you watch shows together, Rachel? Or a TV or Claire Obscure or whatever?
Almost nightly.
Oh, so you do? Do you enjoy watching TV with your boyfriend Andrew?
I do.
Okay.
I do, and I like movies as well. I would say that I'm just less motivated to watch them at home on my own.
So what would be a solution that would make you happy here? To get to either get rid of the big TV and start using your old one again, or maybe compromise with a higher quality, smaller TV?
Yeah, I'm not going to buy a higher quality, smaller TV, but Andrew's welcome to if he wants. I just think it should be smaller.
You're living together, but you don't share finances.
We split some things. If Andrew wants to buy a TV, I think he can do that on his own.
Andrew would be the first person ever in the history of televisions to be like, this TV is too big. I need a smaller one.
I don't know. I think the guys have moved in with women a lot. People have moved in with other people and they've had to compromise the things they care about. But Andrew, one of the things about your big TV here that it's hard for me to see, where are the cables and where does it connect to the things that are playing on it? Either your console, your game console, or your whatever. How does it work? I don't even see a power cord.
Under the window against that far wall is where my PlayStation 5 sits.
Oh, brag.
And that's just my movie player and my Claire Obscure Expedition 33 player, of course. And so cords just run behind those little wooden benches and to the machine. They're very easily detachable if it needs to be, hidden in a project room or anything.
And this little cart just has wheels on it.
Just 4 little wheels, yes.
And when it goes into the project room, how does that affect your projecting, Rachel?
Not very much.
So why not just I don't understand if he's putting it away, why don't you just put it away every night?
I would be happy to that. If that is a acceptable solution, I would happily put it away every night.
Is it an acceptable solution, Rachel?
It's acceptable. It does seem a little silly. I would feel badly watching him struggle to get this giant TV into the project room, which does have a little step up into it. So you do have to kind of pick the whole thing up.
I imagine it's fairly heavy.
It's not.
I think if I was watching you do that every night, I would start to feel silly.
How does it make you feel that Rachel hates your TV and thinks it's ugly, Andrew?
It's unfortunate. I wish that she liked it. I don't think my feelings are hurt or any. I'm not fully connected to it in the sense that I feel personally attacked by her not liking it. But I do feel like movies and watching movies is a big part of our relationship. I do like using that TV with her.
Right.
I do like watching movies with her, but I acknowledge that she doesn't care at all in the same way as I do about how we watch them.
We are theater goers. We are at the movies quite often.
That's right. The biggest screen of all.
The biggest screen.
At the movies, eh? A regular Siskel and Ebert.
That's right.
And Rachel, just to clarify, Andrew says that the resolution and the picture on his TV is better than yours. Do you not notice the difference?
I don't know that I've really taken the time to see if I notice the difference, but if you asked me if I have a preference, one or the other, I would say no.
Because I'll be very honest with you here. This is a beautiful apartment that doesn't accommodate either of your TVs properly. Like, this is a challenging thing to find a solution to. I think you've probably both noticed, and maybe you were hoping that I would have some answers for you, but I'm not sure that I do. Do you have any last evidence that you want to present before I go into my chambers to make an argument for your respective TVs?
I feel like I've said everything that I need to say. It feels like I'm on the razor's edge of just sounding like a total needy dork.
Well, but on the other hand, like, expressing your needs is a part of a relationship, and also it makes podcasts more interesting. I mean, it's okay that if you're a needy dork, we are all needy dorks, right? And this is something you really feel like you need. This is the time to make that argument to Rachel and to me. What does this TV do for you that's so important that you don't want to give it up?
I truly just think it is a lot of fun. I like the movie watching with Rachel is a big part of my life, a big important part of my life, and I do like that a lot, and I get a huge kick out of the big screen, and high quality, just visual fidelity is fun, and the artistry of filmmaking can really come through the bigger and clearer the image gets, and the clearer and more complex the sound can get, and I like that. I feel like the apartment is being non-conducive to a TV at large. I just feel like my argument is having no TV doesn't really make sense, and having any TV is going to be an eyesore. So why not go for the
biggest eyesore possible?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't get a TV any bigger than this, and I wouldn't ask to buy a big TV now, but just having had one that I bought for myself years ago and was a purchase that I liked making and really enjoyed having, it's just something that it's something that I have that I want to keep, as opposed to just something that I desire that I'm hoping to buy, I guess.
Rachel, Andrew, as you said, didn't bring a lot into this house that is mostly decorated by you. I mean, true, he brought 3 animals and a bunch of Blu-rays and this TV, and I presume some clothes and some books, but not a ton of possessions. Is that correct? Is that impression correct?
That's correct.
So when he makes this argument that this particular possession is so meaningful to him, does it change your mind? Does it affect you? How does it change your mind? Or how does it affect you?
Well, I would say that's how the TV ended up in our home.
Right.
I think if I didn't understand that it was very important to him, I would have put my foot down and made him leave it on the curb with everything else.
What else? What did you leave behind, Andrew?
I mean, truly not that much that I miss. It was just, there was some, cheap internet furniture that I had bought to furnish my apartment, and not every book made it. It just, the move was an excuse to kind of purge some of my belongings. I didn't really give up much that I actively miss.
Rachel, why didn't you put your foot down before this thing even got into your apartment?
I think because he had expressed how important it is to him, and that it was the one thing that he had bought for himself that he would like to keep. And I understand that.
And now here we are months later, and it's still there, and yet the conversation is ongoing. Why don't you accept that you allowed it in? And much like a vampire, once it's in, you can't get it out.
Because at the same time, I was told that we would evaluate how that TV was doing in the space.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like...
I trust you'll never fall for that trick again.
Yeah, right. I have evaluated that it's ugly. Oof. And I feel like in passing, Andrew has admitted that too, but not in a way that makes me feel like he's come to a conclusion about anything.
Rachel, is it ugly when you watch it?
No.
When you're watching it, are you distracted by the fact that it is literally displeasing to your eye or figuratively displeasing to your soul, because all you can think about, instead of Double D Lewis's beautiful performance in The Phantom Thread, you're thinking about how Andrew brought this thing into your house and you can't get rid of it?
Not quite. I do feel silly sitting in front of such a big TV, though.
Well, I mean, the TV is quite big and it's quite close to the couch there. I mean, I'm not even sure that this size of a TV should be viewed that close.
Right. No, I'm worried for our retinas.
Andrew, have you done those calculations with the triangles and the inches and the pictures and all this stuff that you're supposed to do to figure out how big your television should be?
No, I have not.
Jesse Thorne, in your projection shed, where does the projector live?
The projector lives above the love seat on which I sit when I'm watching films.
Looking at this, I mean, I think we all know where a screen can come from, the sky. But looking at this, where would you have a projector if you were to put one into this space? That is to say, Rachel and Andrew's apartment.
Well, Rachel and Andrew have a seating arrangement that is underneath their big windows. I think it would probably require a slightly different or additional window treatment. Although I would imagine that through some combination of the internet and Rachel's ingenuity, they could handle that. A heavier window treatment that blocks the light more effectively. But I think the projector could go above/behind their seating position pretty easily.
Yeah, but the windows are there.
But the projector mounts to the ceiling.
Oh, I see.
Or it can mount to the ceiling. It's also possible to mount it to the wall. In this case, it would hang from the ceiling.
Rachel, would you enjoy sitting on the couch knowing that there's a projector suspended above your head that could drop at any moment and give you a concussion?
I don't think I'd mind it. We do have a problem, though, because our ceilings are curved. And so you'd have to set the projector pretty far into the ceiling. And so it might be cutting it close.
Might be a narrow
space-wise.
throw.
Yeah.
Huh? I'm concerned about throw distance here, especially given that Andrew hasn't drawn those triangles.
All right, I think I've heard everything I need to in order to make my decision. I'm going to go into my sunroom to think about it, and I'll be back in a moment with my verdict.
Please rise as Judge John Hodgman exits the courtroom. Rachel, how are you feeling about your chances in the case right now?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Andrew, how are you feeling about your chances in the case?
Unclear. Trepidatious. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm hoping for quite a bit of sympathy, I suppose. That's what I'm looking for to win this one. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll see what Judge Hodgman has to say about all this when we come back in just a moment. Judge John Hodgman, we're taking a quick break from the case. John, can I mention a few people who are coming up on Bullseye with Jesse Thorne, the Smash Hit podcast from Jesse Thorne? That's me.
I should hope you would, because I'm very interested.
We have this week the wonderful Alexander Skarsgård and Carson Lund, who's the director of one of the best reviewed films of the year, the slice of life baseball comedy Ephus, which is a wonderful, beautiful movie, one of the best baseball movies ever made, as far as I'm concerned. It's about a bunch of adult rec league players playing one last game.
Oh, that sounds great.
On a ball field in New England before the ball field is raised to build. Yes.
Buried the lead. Why didn't you just say New England and I would have watched, but okay.
Yes, you're right, John. They're raising it to build an elementary school.
Boo.
We've also got coming up on the program in the next few weeks, Questlove. Yeah. Wonderful interview with Questlove about the two great documentaries that he has on streaming right now. And in just a couple of weeks, our friend Richard Kind, the great Richard Kind.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It's a murderer's row of talent coming through Bullseye. If you aren't already subscribing, hey, why don't you go do that right away? Because you will learn about people, places, and things that will enhance your life, as Bullseye has been doing for my life now for over a decade. Bullseye with Jesse Thorne.
Did you know Lisa Kudrow was a neuroscientist?
Not until I listened to Bullseye.
Yeah, she just talked about it on Bullseye the other day. Did you know that Keita Takahashi was the creator of the video game Katamari Damacy, but then he also created a game called To a T that just came out, and it's about a teenage boy whose arms stick out directly to the side and make him T-shaped?
Not until I listened to you talking about Bullseye.
Yeah, that's the important stuff, John.
Yeah. Hey, it is the day after my birthday. That means we're in June. You do the math. I don't want any cards or presents because the greatest present is coming my way. By the end of this month, I will be installed in the coastal woods of the state of Maine, and I will be returning to the solar-powered studios of WERU in order to record the show. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Joel Mann. And if you're not a listener to WERU, may I recommend you do so? You don't have to be in Maine to listen. WERU.org is available wherever you have a web browser. And boy, oh boy, is it some of the funnest, most eclectic audio programming of music and local conversation than I ever get to hear. And you can too. WERU.org is where you go to listen to the live stream. It might be fun for you to get a bigger picture of the world of Maine that I inhabit a couple of months out of the year. And of course, with along with public television and NPR and so many other places that are supported by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, WERU is facing an existential crisis. So if you like what you hear, I'm sure you can find that donate button right there at WERU.org and give them some support because they surely need it. And I would say they surely warrant it. So check out WERU.org. And one other thing, it's not something you can do unless you are in Maine, but if you're in or near Belfast, Maine, go to the Colonial Movie Theater. Much like my much beloved Coolidge Corner Movie Theater, where I grew up working in Brookline, Massachusetts, the Colonial is a beautiful old movie palace that faced some understandably challenging times, especially during the lockdown portion of the COVID pandemic. But has somehow come out stronger because the community has bought it and is turning it into a community-supported performing arts center. And they've done wonderful work and they show great movies. And it's called the Colonial. And they've got a giant statue of an elephant on top. Belfast, Maine is where it's at. And you don't have to worry about running into me there because that's not where I live. So you can go enjoy your privacy in a beautiful movie at the Colonial Theater. 2 recommendations for Maine. Maybe I'll see you around.
Let's get back to the case. Please rise as Judge John Hodgman re-enters the courtroom and presents his verdict.
So, Andrew, first of all, you acknowledged coming into this conversation that you messed up. I don't know how it was you messed up, but you met Rachel online some years ago. The relationship did not flourish in perhaps the way you hoped it would and in the way that it is now. And only by grace of serendipity were you spotted walking Esther down the road by Rachel, who, for whatever messing up, still felt attracted and interested in you. And so she texted you. And here we are with this incredible outcome. Not only did you get a second chance at what I hope is the love of your respective lives, but also you have a new home to live in that accommodates not just you and not just your large TV, but also not 1, not 2, but 3 additional pets into a 1-bedroom apartment. I know that you want to say 2, but the sunroom, which is the second bedroom, is given over to projects and litter consoles and laser cutters, and it's not a bedroom. It's a swing space right now. And it needs to be, because if it weren't for that swing space, I'm not sure that this apartment could be as beautiful as it is. And let me tell you something, Andrew. You are now living in a beautiful apartment. And let me tell you, Andrew, and let me tell you, Rachel, I love your apartment. I think it looks gorgeous. I love all of the furniture. I love the layout. I love all the tasteful decoration. Those curtains and window treatments look spectacular. And while I can't see that curved ceilings that you described, I can picture from my various times visiting Los Angeles, the kind of vaulted, maybe it's not stucco, but those vaulted white ceilings and those big thick walls with the sconces. This is a really classic Los Angeles apartment with a beautiful view. And I am not even seeing out the windows of the sunroom or your deck. I mean, it's a gorgeous space. And there's one thing, and both Weetsy Bat and Ronnie and Tommy and Esther all seem to fit into this apartment very well. But there's one thing that is not beautiful, that does not fit in, and that is this TV. Now, I was having a conversation with my wife, who's a whole human being in her own right. And we were talking about the process of collaboration. I was talking about, how it's challenging to work creatively with a collaborator because, you'll share ideas and your ideas will get bigger and better because you're sharing ideas back and forth and you're stress testing ideas and improving ideas. But every now and then you'll hit essentially a snag, an A-B decision point. Either the character's got to be named this or the character's got to be named that. Or either the character has this as a job or the character has that as a job. Either this is going to happen or that is going to happen. Or this character is going to be on the boat in the second act or not on the boat in the second act. Because people can't be in two places at the same time, not even in fiction. And my wife, who's a holy being in her own right, reminded me that this is sort of like marriage or long-term romantic cohabitating partnership. Like you both bring yourself to the relationship. You both are equals in the relationship. You both are sharing of yourself in the relationship. There's give and there's take and there's compromise, but sometimes there's no compromise. Sometimes there's going to be a 65-inch TV in this house or there isn't. Sometimes someone's going to get what they want and the other person is not going to get what they want. Zero sum. And this is one of those situations. If you didn't catch how closely I was drawing the hypothetical to your actual situation, when I use the example, sometimes there's going to be a 65-inch TV in that apartment and sometimes there isn't. Sometimes there's going to, for lack of a better phrase, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And the winner is going to feel good, but guilty. And the loser is going to feel bad, but martyred, knowing that they're going to win the next one. Maybe that's how you work it out. Maybe it's not. I don't know. The point is that in close relationships where you are really, really sharing and respecting each other, even at the utmost from time to time, there's just a surrender that's going to happen. One of you has to do it. That's why it's so challenging here. And it's doubly challenging because this is a beautiful apartment. I don't want to ruin it. I don't know how I would feel about hanging a projector and a screen from the ceiling. That might be discreet enough that it wouldn't ruin the flow of this room, or it might not. And I certainly don't know if it's going to provide you the visual fidelity that you're looking for, because you only have this room to live in, basically. In the foreground, there's a dining table, so I know you're doing your dining in there. In the rear is the sunroom, which we know is just a swing room for all this other stuff, so that this one room can be beautifully curated as it is. Neither the small TV nor the big TV fits in it properly. And here we are. We are at that inflection point, whether there is going to be a TV in that space or there isn't going to be a TV in that space. And here's the problem. Rachel, I think you've learned that you gave up all your leverage the moment you let the TV in the first place. The time for you to, if you had put your foot down and said, no, we're going to go to the movies, but I'm not having a TV in this room, or at least not a TV this big. We can have my TV or a smaller TV of better quality that we can move in and out easily or not. That would have been a condition, and it would have been appropriate for Andrew to surrender. I don't know what kind of wheeling and dealing happened that you got this. Well, Hodgman wouldn't hear our case on the stage of Dynasty Typewriter, so let's kick the can down the road a few months till we can get on the podcast. But once that TV is in there, it's just like the devil. Possession is 9/10 of the law. It takes a lot to get the devil out of that child in The Exorcist. If I saw an elegant solution in this beautiful, elegant apartment, I would provide it. But the only solution that I think, as inelegant as it is, both emotionally and physically, is that the TV has to stay and Andrew has to put it away every night. And I also think that this is a good solution. As awkward and as inelegant as it is It's a good solution because that is how Rachel had been handling her TV before. Obviously, her TV is smaller, but it's not a postage stamp. It was a pretty big TV. That's exactly the system that she had in place before. And while you do enjoy watching movies and television together and playing video games like more or less every night, and it is a hassle, I think it is a hassle that is worth it and might even emphasize that it's a special occasion that you're doing something together, as opposed to just having a massive TV hanging out in the living room. So making it a special occasion, even if that special occasion happens every night, I think is is not only the only solution, it is the fairest solution. So you're going to get some exercise. Find some space in the sunroom, move it in there. This is the sound of a gavel.
Big.
Judge John Hodgman rules, that is all.
Please rise as Judge John Hodgman exits the courtroom. Rachel, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm feeling validated.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you just wanted someone to hear you.
Yes, of course.
Andrew, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little emotional. I feel really lucky to be in this relationship, and it's nice to hear that from the judge. So,
Andrew, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us on the Judge John Hodgman podcast.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Another Judge John Hodgman case is in the books. We're going to have swift justice in just a second. First, our thanks to Redditor Banjo Solo for naming this episode of Judge John Hodgman, which was called 4K No Los Dos. Join the conversation on the Maximum Fun subreddit. That's at reddit.com/r/maximumfun to name a future episode or check out all the different dumb puns that our audience suggests for an episode. Man, it's a lot of fun. You can also chat about the episodes at reddit.com/r/maximumfun. Evidence and photos from the show posted on our Instagram account. That's at Judge John Hodgman. We're also on TikTok and YouTube at Judge John Hodgman Pod. Follow and subscribe to see our episodes and our video-only content.
Speaking of video-only content, Jesse, hey, listener, are you watching us on YouTube right now? Why don't you go over to Judge John Hodgman Pod and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're over there, you might leave a comment like YouTube user Tuckamore Do left, saying, "No other courtroom consistently has such charming litigants." Thank you, Tuckamore Do. It's true, our litigants are charming, and I'll even say, even more charming, our YouTube commenters. Please go over and check out our YouTube channel. We're having a lot of fun over there. Please do hit that subscribe button, that like button, that share button, but also leave a comment. Maybe I'll read it right here on the show. If you leave a comment, tell us what you agree with or disagree with. Was I right about Andrew and Rachel or wrong? Is picture quality important to you? Do you like a projector? What would you recommend for their space? Or do you just watch everything on a laptop? The way I watched Avatar on a seatback, the way it was meant to be seen on a Delta flight.
That way you really get to enjoy the dialogue, John.
That's right. Yeah, the subtitles, because I have to watch with the captions, took up about a third of the screen. Mm-hmm. Let us know in the comments on YouTube at Judge John Hodgman Pod, where you can also share this episode with a friend. Just hit the share button, email or text it to someone you know. If you want someone to listen or discover the show for the first time, going to YouTube and hitting the share button might be the easiest way. And once again, I will say it, if you subscribe, more people will see the videos and more people will subscribe and more people will see the videos and more people will discover the podcast. So if you love it, listen to me. We're asking you to share, subscribe, like it over there on YouTube.
Judge John Hodgman was created by Jesse Thorne and John Hodgman. Our social media manager is Dan Telfer. The podcast is edited by AJ McKeon. Our video editor, Daniel Spear. Our producer is Jennifer Marmer. Okay, John, you ready for swift justice?
I am ready.
Okay, this is from Just Another Batman on Reddit.
Sure.
Do bananas have juice? My friend says no, because they don't have any squeezable liquid. I say yes. Any fruit with water content can be juiced.
Yeah, I mean, you can liquefy a banana, and people do it all the time for a smoothie. But it is called a smoothie, not a liquidy. You know what I mean?
You can't separate the liquid from the solid in a banana, can you? I mean, you can in a carrot, which you can't just squeeze.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to send this as a challenge to our listeners and viewers. Take a video of you trying to get banana water out of a banana. I don't know how you do it. Use a cider press, use cheesecloth, whatever you do. If you can get me pure banana water with no pulp or strings in it, then I will rule that banana has juice. Send us a video and maybe we'll put it on our YouTube channel and make it a competition of some kind. But until I see it with my own eyes, I will say bananas don't have juice. Prove me wrong. Debate me. That's what the internet's for.
Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jesse. You know, it was my birthday yesterday as of the day of this release. No one needs to get me anything, but if you must, a good birthday present for me would be disputes, cases for us to settle here on the court of Judge John Hodgman. It can be anything. Why don't we get some birthday disputes? Anything related to dates or times of birth. Do you have a disagreement with your parents over the time of day when you were born? Does your friend want to throw you a surprise party, but you hate surprises? Are you a Capricorn clashing with a Sag? Did a friend bring a gift for your birthday, even though you said, I don't want any gifts? And what do you do with that gift? You throw it away or do you send it to me, John Hodgman? Re-gift it. Why not? I don't want a gift for real, but I do want your disputes and cases. And truly, they can be anything. Even if it's a dispute you're only having in your own mind with someone who isn't there to defend themselves, I want to hear about it at MaximumFun.org/JJHO.
That URL, one more time, MaximumFun.org/JJHO. Very easy to submit a case. We use them in all kinds of different venues. Sometimes we use them in live shows. Sometimes we use them on the podcast. Sometimes we use them on social media. Sometimes we use them in Swift Justice or in the Membo mailbag. They're all over everywhere. So Please don't censor yourself. Go to MaximumFun.org/JJHO and submit them.
If, for example, if you don't have a litigant who can come with you on the podcast, say it's like your eccentric millionaire uncle who wants you to spend a night in a haunted house and you don't want to, and you know that he won't go on the podcast, that's okay. Send in your dispute with him and maybe we'll settle it without even calling him.
MaximumFun.org/JJHO. We'll talk to you next time on the Judge John Hodgman podcast.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.